Hello, this is Nick Leverland from Pegasus Property. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. So I'm currently doing a series of videos called Development 101. And the reason I'm calling it Development 101 is that I want to cover some more basic principles of property development and investing. I think a lot of the videos I do are quite HMO orientated or whatever, and they go into a lot of nuts and bolts of different things like calculating conversion costs for projects and all that good stuff that we all need to know. However, I thought it might be kind of cool to maybe touch on some more principle-based subjects and just share with you really what I think about different investment strategies, how I approach them, where I see risk in different strategies and why I think that way, etc. So hopefully these videos will be useful. I'm doing them as part of a series, so there's going to be they're all going to be called Development 101, and then it'll be whatever subject. So this is my second video. The last video that I did about 2 weeks ago was different investment strategies in which you should do, and that had some really good responses because I don't think a lot of people really talk about different property investment strategies and the different reasons behind them, basically, and they're all quite simple reasons. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit again in this video. On this video, I'm also going to talk about goal setting and how to do that. And then I'm also going to talk about different levels of risk with property investment and how you should approach different projects in a sensible way. So right. Starting off, so who I am and what gives me the credentials to sit here spouting off my opinion to you. I'm Nick, I'm a property developer, I'm based in Stoke-on-Trent. My company, Pegasus Property, which is the board behind me, we've been going for just over 2 years now. Me and my business partner John Colclough started the company together. I was in the Royal Navy for 9 years. I left last year and started this company with John. So to date, we've done in excess of 50 projects where we've sourced them and renovated them for clients. We've also got our own projects, such as a pub that we're converting to 9 flats. We own a nightclub that we're converting into 22 units. So that's an 18-bed, all-ensuite HMO and 4 flats. And we've got various buy-to-lets and flips as well that we do for ourselves. For our clients, we do lots of things like buy-to-lets, flips, HMOs, mainly cash flow-based strategies. That's what we get. That's what we've got going for us up here in Stoke-on-Trent. We get really good yields, good cash flow. So that's what we specialise in. I won't try and talk about things that I don't know anything about. If it's something, if I mention something and I don't know anything about it, I'll make that quite clear. I'm not an expert. I'm a student. I'm always learning. Anything that I say that's wrong, please tell me. I'm always interested in getting better, improving my knowledge and getting better as a person. So yeah, some of this is opinion based. We've done okay for ourselves so far. Sometimes I have to sit back and actually see what's going on, and appreciate the hard work we've put in. Because sometimes when you're down there on the ground hustling and grinding away, it's easy to not stop and think, oh wow, we've done all these projects, and we've got 19 projects under renovation right now, with 60 contractors working across the city, and it's a bit crazy. So my head's spinning. So I try to put some time aside to make these videos because I really enjoy doing them and I really enjoy helping people and getting the feedback as well. So please give me feedback. If you like these videos, let me know. That'll be awesome. So without further ado, let's get into it. So like I mentioned earlier, setting goals and your expectations is really important as an investor and a developer. So, for anyone that knows me, I'm not actually a big fan of like mindset and happy clappy stuff. I kind of know where I'm going and what I want to do and how I'm going to get there, because I see myself as an action taker. I prefer to do rather than talk. So if somebody says to me, you need to do this, or I get an idea, I just do it. I don't think about it. I don't sit around thinking about it for a long time. I just get it done. I just get that ball rolling, and then things happen. Sometimes for better or worse, but that's how I operate. But I do think it's really important to figure out your why, or your whys. So I speak to a lot of investors, and they come to me and say, I want to make £10,000 a month passive cash flow, and I say, why £10,000 a month? And they don't know the answer to that. They just thought £10,000 a month sounded good. So, property is a great vehicle and investment, a great investment vehicle basically. I see it as 2 buckets primarily. In one bucket, you've got cash flow, and in the other bucket, you've got where you deploy your money and you get your money back with a profit on top. So on this side, you've got money going in and you're getting cash flow. So you're making a big chunk in, and you've got a few holes in your bucket, and it's trickling out that cash flow basically. Over on this bucket, you put the money in, and then the money comes back out again, but there's more. So that's the way I see that. You deploy the money, and you get the money back after a period of time. Ideally, you want both at the same time. You want the bucket where the money goes in and the money comes out, and you get the cash flow as well. Typically when you put your money into this cash flow bucket, you don't get all your money back out again. You have to keep a bit of it there, which means that eventually this cash flow bucket eats away all your money until there's nothing left. But you've got lots of cash flow. So what do you want? That's what I said to my clients. What it is you need. You need to work out that why. So cash flow investments would be things like HMOs, buy-to-let, service accommodation, build to rent. Build a new build house and rent it. You're basically putting all your money down. You generally leave a chunk of your money tied up, and you get cash flow as a return on that money. On the other side, where you put your money and you get your money out, strategies such as flips, such where you buy it, you renovate it, and you sell it for a profit. Planning uplift. So you could buy a site, or you could negotiate a site subject to planning. You pay for all the planning and all the surveys. It's now worth more money because it's got planning, and you sell it on to somebody else. You flip that land on all that development onto somebody else for a planning uplift, and you make a chunk of money. Or you've got loan agreements, so you can loan people money, such as other developers, on a fixed interest basis for 12 months, 18 months, whatever you agree, and you secure it on an asset of equivalent value or more value, or whatever it is you agree. Preferably on a first charge, because that means you're properly secure. Second charge doesn't really mean anything. So there's some strategies for sort of deploying your money, getting your money back out again. So, there is things like commercial to residential conversions, such as turning an old office or a nightclub or a pub into flats or HMOs or whatever, residential basically, from a commercial to a residential use. That's a great strategy where you can actually see all your money come back, and you get to retain the asset and you get the cash flow as well. So I like to call them the golden egg deals. That's the deals that everybody wants really. However, harder and harder to get these days. And also, they're much harder projects to do. There's a lot more moving parts to them, more contractors, more surveys that are required, more knowledge, definitely more chance of things going wrong if you're not sure what you're doing. Cool. So I was talking about basically setting goals and expectations. So the reason I wanted to explain the little bucket thing to you is because I think a lot of people have this misconception that basically getting all your money out of a deal is really easy. And it is really easy if you're buying it and you're selling it. But if the whole point is you're trying to build a portfolio and you're actually trying to keep the assets on the exit, i.e. you're going to remortgage it, refinance it, and get all the money back. I don't really find that's how it works these days. It used to kind of work that way, but it's getting harder and harder to do that. And one method that was quite popular was buying a residential property, which is C3 in the planning categories, C3, residential property. You would then convert that into a HMO, like a 6-bed plus with all en suites, and you would refinance that on a commercial valuation. So instead of the property being valued as bricks and mortar, which is the normal way a property is valued, it's valued on a commercial basis. So they would take the rental income and they would multiply that based on yield. So all the countries got different yields or whatever, so all different areas had different multipliers that they would use. And that's how you'd work out the commercial valuation. And the commercial valuation was often more than the bricks and mortar. So that meant that you could get pretty much all your money back, and you had a HMO that was cash flowing and happy days. And you could multiply that strategy many times. However, in my experience, it wasn't really that simple. It wasn't as simple as people made out. There was loads of things to consider, such as, a lot of the guys doing the valuations wouldn't want to value it on a commercial basis if you hadn't really done major renovation works on it. It had to not be similar to the house next door. So just buying a 3-bed house and making it 6 bedrooms but only having 2 bathrooms, for example, didn't really work so well. some people weren't getting HMO licenses because they weren't required, because it was only 6 bedrooms on a ground floor and a first floor, which means it didn't need a license, and therefore people weren't getting the valuations that they expected. Some people were going into this strategy not realising that actually a lot of lenders wouldn't touch them on the exit because they haven't got experience or whatever. And there's all these things that were just tripping people up, and they were, they didn't know about any of this stuff. So it didn't turn out to be as easy as people thought. However, it is still a possibility, and is still a way that people do that investment strategy, and it does work for some people, but it's not as simple as people made out. So that's one way of momentum investing, getting your money back. But primarily, what I'm trying to get at here is basically setting your expectations, and a way of setting goals is to actually know what can you do with your money. I touched on this in the other video, so I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but essentially, if you can reverse engineer, so if you can start off with what your end goal is and what that is. So, for example, I mentioned earlier £10,000 a month net profit. Why is that? Why do you need that? Do you need that much money? Actually, when I worked it out for myself, I think when I broke down, all my costings and what I could actually live off, it was like £1,600 a month, and I could live off that, and that would pay my bills and mortgage, food, dog food, clothes, going out a couple nights, a month, and that's all I needed in my car. So actually, I didn't need that much money. So a lot of people come up with these grand ideas of £10,000, but actually when you work backwards and you break it down, you don't need that much money. Why do you need that money? Is it because you want to quit work? Is it because you want to go travelling? Is it because you want a better time for your kids, better school for your kids or whatever, spend more time with your kids? You need to work out that reason, and that's really important, because once you've worked that out, you can work out what the financial figure is that you need to be able to achieve that. And once you know what that financial figure is, you can work backwards from there. So let's say, for example, it's £5,000 a month net profit. If you work backwards from there, if you know you can make £250 a month off a buy-to-let, so £5,000 divided by £250 a month net profit off a buy-to-let is 20 buy-to-lets. That's quite a lot of houses to own, 20 buy-to-lets. But if you had 6-bed all-en-suite HMO, that makes £1,500 a month net profit. You only need 2 and a bit of those. 3 and a bit of those to hit that goal. So, or you can mix it up a bit. You could have 2 of those HMOs making £1,500 a month net, which is £3,000, and then you could have 5 buy-to-lets over here making £250 each, and you can mix the strategies up a bit and get a really tight portfolio. That's going to stand the test of time and stand political changes and regulation changes and all the rest of it. And then how much money would you need in order to be able to do those deals? So a 6-bed all-en-suite HMO in Stoke-on-Trent, all in's probably about 200k. So that's to buy it and fully renovate it and furnish it and all the rest of it. On exit, you'd probably leave about 50k of your money tied up. So you get 150k back of the 200, and the other 50 would be tied up. And that's what would happen. So if you had a pot of money, each time you go, you're going to leave a bit behind. So you need to strategize that and work out how big is the pot, how long will it take to replenish that pot, how long, therefore now you can start working out timelines. And then if you go back another step, you can work out how long it's going to take to find the deal, how long it's going to take to renovate the deal, how long it's going to take to get the money back again, how long it takes to replenish the money, and now you can start seeing basically a timeline starting to work, and now it's got legs, and now it's a tangible strategy, rather than just going, I want 10k a month. Now you've worked it backwards to realistically how long that would take to do, and how long it would take to accomplish that. So, that's all I want to say on that. Basically, it's about goal setting, little bite-sized goals, 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, and the realistic timeline to actually achieve that. How are you going to do that? Is property even the right investment vehicle for you? There's other ways of investing your money out there. We'd be better mixing it all up a bit, doing a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. So anyway, hope that was useful. The next video I'm going to talk about is going to be talking about where property investment sits in my riskometer and what my reasoning is behind that. Why I see stuff as more risky than others and other investment strategies, and why. So tune in for that next video. I hope this was good for you. It was a little bit similar to the last video I did with regards to talking about working out timelines and investment strategies and all the rest of it, but I just wanted to go into it in more detail again because I think it's so important. So I hope it's got you thinking, I really appreciate any feedback. Please comment below. I've got a few things if you want to buy them. I've got a deal analyzer. I've got an ebook called the Developers Refurb Manual. I do a workshop as well every 6 weeks in Stoke-on-Trent. People come to me. I show them all my projects that I'm doing, how I source them, how I renovate them, how I do everything else. It's really good. And yeah, I also run a group called Unity. That's a group for property developers and investors that I run. It's a membership-based group, so you've got to pay monthly to be in the group. We meet up every month. We have experts come and do awesome seminars for us. We've got a really good WhatsApp group and really active Facebook group as well, with loads of experts in there, all helping each other. So yeah, it will actually save you money because of all the discounts available in the group. Also, it's offsettable against your tax because it's classed as education. So something else to bear in mind. So thank you very much. The link for all of those things I just explained will be in the description. So thank you very much for watching. Cheers, bye bye.